Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to yet another amazing episode of the Literal Podcast, your very, very interesting podcast where we spill the tea about important life situations. We don't just gist on this channel, but we give informative content. So anytime you watch our video, you're sure to learn something new that's going to make you a better person as time goes on. So thank you so much for tuning in again today. I'm your amazing host, Oge Chinze, aka The Phenomenal Oge. And today we're going to be diving into a very interesting topic. We're going to be diving into a topic that, everyone throws around easily. Oh, let's agree to disagree. Let's agree to disagree. Exactly. So today we're going to be talking about the impact of agreeing to disagree in relationships. So sit tight, grab your favorite drink and snack, and let's get right into the video. But I have one question on my mind. Is agreeing to disagree really a sign of maturity, or is it just a way of sweeping real issues and problems under the carpet until the carpet starts to rise to the point that it looks like a mountain and we can no longer hide things underneath? What exactly do you think? You can drop your answers in the comment section. And if at this point you haven't liked this video, what are you waiting for, my darling? It's free to like, it's free to share, it's free to comment. So please make sure you like this video, share to your loved ones and friends, drop your comments in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell so you know when I post the new content. Thank you. You might be asking, what exactly does this phrase agree to disagree really mean? I'll explain it to you. It simply means on this issue, we don't see eye to eye on this topic. You have a different view, I have a different view. But instead of us to be fighting about it, let's just agree to disagree. You have your peace, I have my peace. You agree or you accept or believe whatever it is you want to believe, and I'll believe what I choose to believe. That's basically what it means. But does agreeing to disagree actually provide any solution to the problem? Does it really give you guys any headway? Or are you people just postponing the argument and sweeping things under the carpet? In the course of this video, you get to find that out shortly. I get the fact that sometimes saying, oh, let's agree to disagree might sound, like an emotionally intelligent thing to say. It might sound like wisdom sometimes, but some other times you need to sit down and ask yourself, this thing that we're agreeing to disagree on, is it on a topic that is eventually going to be a red flag, or a topic that could be a potential red flag? What we're agreeing to disagree on, is it something that needs to be trashed and, agreed upon before we make any headway? Or is this something we can actually choose to just let slide and just ignore? You need to ask yourself those questions before you agree to disagree with anybody, so that you don't end up shooting yourself in the leg in the long run. Some things actually need serious resolution and not just silence. So agreeing to disagree is basically like saying, let's just go silent on this issue. You retain your views, I retain my own views. I don't agree with you, you don't agree with me. It's fine. We'll just let it go and sweep it under the carpet. That's basically, it's like delaying the resolution, basically. I feel like it's better for you guys to trash the issue, sort it out, talk about it, and come to a level ground rather than saying, oh, let's agree to disagree for peace to reign. Peace might reign at that point in time, but for how long? That's the question. Agreeing to disagree a lot of times is just avoidance in disguise. But the truth be told, for how long are you really going to be able to keep up that energy? But the truth is, if you keep using let's agree to disagree as an excuse to escape tough conversations or difficult conversations, as the case may be, you're only just, delaying the explosion that comes from that conversation. So instead of, postponing the argument or postponing the explosion, postponing the quarrel or postponing the clash or whatever it is, as the case may be, depending on how you handle it, you're just postponing it to the future instead of actually trashing it now, coming to a level ground and actually, making real headway. Because in my opinion, agreeing to disagree never really helps anybody. It never really brings any proper solution to the problem at hand. Let's say, for example, Mr. A and Mr. B get married, and Mr. A believes in, a child shouldn't be punished. I believe in gentle parenting. You just talk to the child gently and calmly, and that's it. No shouting, no caning, no punishing, no spanking, nothing. But Mrs. A believes in spare the rod and spoil the child. She believes in disciplining a child when the child crosses the line. Mrs. A believes in, a little spanking here and there with moderation when the child has done something wrong. But for Mr. A, he doesn't want to hear of it, is simply gentle parenting all the way. Just speak to the child, talk to them nicely, no shouting, no punishment, no caning, nothing like that. These two people definitely have two different views about what parenting should be like. But where the problem is, they might say, okay, let's just, let's agree to disagree and let it slide. And then they go ahead and get married and then start to have kids. So they will not understand, the danger in the agreeing to disagree that they did earlier on, until they see one day one of their children just goes and breaks the TV. Meanwhile, Mrs. A is there already with her belt, ready to spank the shit out of the child. But while Mr. A is simply there trying to talk and busy quoting Dr. Phil. So in that case, it's not going to work, because one party is really busy. One party is busy ready to, beat the shit out of the child and correct them in the way they know how to, while the other party is there still busy talking all nicely. But in the course of that, one party is getting upset that you're not handling the case properly and you're letting this child, get away with doing things wrong. But if they haven't had that conversation and they just, didn't address the elephant in the room and just swept it under the carpet, now it's going to be a problem. But it's going to be a problem because they're going to be there busy arguing. Oh, are we spanking the child? Are we correcting the child, or are we letting it slide? Are we just going to talk? So at that point in time, it's not the best time to start arguing about, oh, we're spanking the child or we're not spanking the child. These things should have been spoken about before marriage, or preferably before marriage, to trash out what exactly is going to be our parenting style, so that you guys have a united front in the presence of your kids, because it's very important. It's not healthy for mom and dad to have different views or to have different stands, especially in front of the kids, because they'll see it as, oh, one parent is wicked and the other one is the nice one who you can run to and get away with stuff whenever you do something wrong. But when the parents have a united front and they have already agreed, okay, let's get to a level ground. All right, if the child does something wrong, we're not spanking our kids with any weapons or anything like that. Or you can say, oh, we're not hitting our kids, but we're going to give corporal punishments. We're going to punish them in so and so way, and that's fine. And then this one, okay, in the course of the punishment, me who likes to talk, I'm going to talk the child through why they're getting punished for what they're doing. And then that way, you guys get to strike a balance and have a united front in the presence of your kids. So they know that whatever mommy says about my punishment is the same thing that is going to say. So basically, the child has that balance and understands that, okay, whatever I do is wrong, both in the sight of mommy and in the sight of daddy. So that way, they won't be arguing in front of the kids. Rather, they already know the kind of things that they are allowed to do or they have chosen to do to their kids when the kids fall short. So that way, they already know what exactly is going to be done. They know the punishment for each kind of, offense in their house and stuff like that. And that way, there's peace and there's order in that home. So there won't be any fights. But if they had swept the issue under the carpet, they will be there busy arguing in front of the kid, and the kid will be looking at them like, what's going on with mommy and daddy? So now let's talk about when agreeing to disagree is actually toxic. So sometimes agreeing to disagree could be toxic, and sometimes it could be wisdom. But when exactly now is agreeing to disagree toxic? It is toxic when one party brings up the idea of, oh, let's agree to disagree as a way of escaping difficult situations, or as a way of, avoiding confrontations, or as a way of avoiding having difficult conversations. If you put forth the foot of, oh, let's agree to disagree every single time you have a difficult situation at hand, you're not going to make any headway. And at that point in time, that has become a toxic trait. So if you have that trait of, oh, let's agree to disagree when you feel like you're not going to win or things are not going your way and all that, it's definitely now a toxic trait, because it's not a healthy way to go around conflict resolution. So I'll give you some examples where agreeing to disagree is a very bad idea. Number one, in faith differences. For example, if you're dating someone who doesn't believe in God, or who believes that, oh, church is a scam, I don't believe in Christianity, I don't believe in going to church, I don't believe in paying tithes, I don't believe in all that stuff. and you yourself, you believe in it. But instead of trashing it out and reaching a level ground and coming to an understanding of whether this thing should be a deal breaker or not, you just say, okay, I don't want us to fight. I want to just, follow peace with all men in my relationship. I don't want us to quarrel or have to argue about stuff. And you guys just choose to say, okay, let's agree to disagree. And you sweep it under the carpet. My brother, my sister, are you ready for the fire that is ahead? Are you ready for the problems ahead? Because when one party says, oh, let's sweep it under the carpet now, and you both agree to sweep it under the carpet, and you think it will automatically solve itself in the future when you guys get married, erroneous. That is not going to happen. So what happens in the future is a situation whereby one party wants to go to church, the other person wants to sit at home and sleep and doesn't understand why you're even leaving to go to church instead of lying in bed with them. So that becomes a problem. You might want to pay tithe. Meanwhile, the other party says, oh, I don't believe in paying tithe. It's just a scam. You guys want to go and dash money to your pastor, blah, 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 blah. Why are you going to church? You're not going anywhere. Things like that. Before you know, you guys start to have, those altercations and those unnecessary clashes simply because you decided to sweep important conversations like that under the carpet in the guise of let peace reign. No. It's going to tell in the future. So in cases of faith differences, it's definitely not one thing to agree to disagree about. So number 2 example of when agreeing to disagree could be toxic is when it comes to money matters, money habits. Let's say, for example, 2 people are intending to get married, and let's say the guy is a spender. He believes in, oh, you only live once. We're just going to blow this money. We're going to make money, spend money. And then the lady is a saver. She believes in, oh, we need to save for the rainy day. We need to have emergency funds and all that kind of stuff. But this guy doesn't believe in that. And unfortunately, they say, okay, oh, let's not argue. Let's just agree to disagree. When we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. My brother, my sister, you're not going to cross any bridge. When you get there, you most likely end up breaking the bridge. Because you get to that point, and then a situation like this could possibly happen. Mrs. A is busy saving up money. Mr. A says, oh, let's say they even have a joint account in the future because of their marriage. They agree to have a joint account. And now they have a joint account together. This woman is busy pumping money into it for saving. This man too is putting money in. But instead of saving like the wife is, or keeping up with, oh, let's save for this thing, or keeping money down for emergency funds, this man is just taking their savings money and blowing it on different things. It could be buying new cars, buying new clothes, new trips. It could be anything basically. But tomorrow, these things are going to cause issues because one person is a saver and believes in having emergency funds. The other person doesn't. The person believes in, oh, you only live once. What if you die tomorrow? Let's just blow this money. But they're going to have issues. They're going to have clashes in the future in their marriage if they haven't resolved these things earlier on. So in cases like money issues, it's better you address the elephant in the room and don't even dare try to say, oh, let's agree to disagree and we'll sort it out when we get to that bridge. No. It doesn't work. So it's better you sort it out beforehand and know, okay, we finally agreed, we've gotten, we've struck a balance and we've come to a common ground that, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to allocate part of our money to savings, and this percentage of our money will be open for use for your, soft life and your expenditures and frivolous spending. So that way, there's going to be peace in that home. But if they don't come to that agreement before the marriage, and then one person is just blowing money and the other one seems to be the only one who is trying to save, it's going to cause issues. And sometimes these things lead to irreconcilable differences that make some people end up saying, oh, I'm not doing again, no, they up and leave. Then the next thing you hear, that couple is divorced. So number 3 issue where you shouldn't agree to disagree is life goals. This one is very important. Let's say one party says, okay, me, I want to travel to Canada. I have plans of relocating abroad. This second person, Mr. Man, doesn't believe in traveling abroad. He believes in, no, I will keep living in Lagos or in Abuja or wherever it is that he lives at the time. I believe in, I'm going to stay in my country and build my nation and make things work. But this madam wants to jackpot. It's not going to work. If you guys don't sit down and address that elephant in the room and you just say, okay, let's agree to disagree for now. When we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. You end up not crossing anything. You guys will end up breaking the bridge in the course of your argument. Because what's going to likely happen is the fact that one person is going to end up limiting the other person. Because one person might find new ways for them to jackpot, the other person will just keep inhibiting the plans or refusing or drawing the other person back. So in order not to have those clashes, it's better you have the agreement beforehand. Are we open to traveling or are we not? So if you both cannot agree on that, it's not advisable to even go ahead in the first place. So what's the moral of all this explanation, all the stories I've given now? The moral of the story is the fact that all disagreements don't need to end in argument. They don't need to end in fight or quarrel. No, they just need to be addressed as it is hot. You need to resolve these issues early enough to avoid them turning into a big monster in your relationship eventually. So if you end up just sweeping things under the carpet, all in the name of let's agree to disagree, you end up, building that little problem into a huge monster eventually, which is not going to help the situation. I can tell you that for free. So I'll give you one more example of something you shouldn't agree to disagree on. And another thing is gender roles. This one is very, very important. And so many people end up, tending to forget about it or not remember to talk about it. Or they just, sweep it under the carpet and we'll figure it out. My dear, you ain't gonna figure nothing. If you cannot figure it out before the marriage kicks in, chances are that it's going to be more difficult to figure it out after you've gotten married. So I'll give you one gist here. There was this babe. She and the guy she were dating had, disagreements with or different views when it comes to gender roles. She believes in, she wants to be a working class woman. She wants to, be able to contribute at home. She wants to have her own money to be able to, do stuff for herself, for her family, and also, for her extended family as well. But this guy believes in, a man must be, I'm the man, I'm the provider, blah, blah, blah. My wife needs to stay home, take care of the house, take care of the family, and raise our kids and, give birth to kids and raise them, basically. So she and this guy were dating for quite a while. And then they had that conversation, and she was like, oh, no, I don't want to be a housewife. For me, I want to work. And this guy was like, my wife must be a housewife, or she needs to stay home and take care of the kids and take care of my family and whatever needs that I have. But they had that clash and that issue at that point in time. But they were like, let's not argue about this. Let's not fight. We love each other. Oh my God, that's enough. My darling, love is not enough. There's so many important conversations that need to be had. And if you cannot agree on those things and reach a common ground beforehand, it's going to be even more difficult when you get into the marriage. I understand they say love is blind. My sister, marriage is the eye opener. So shine your eye before you get into whatever you're getting into. Have the difficult conversations. Address all the elephants in the room beforehand so that they don't become monsters later on in the course of the marriage. So as I was saying, this babe eventually was like, let's just agree to disagree. We'll be fine. We'll sort it out. We'll figure it out. She thought, she had made her peace. She had said her bit and then the guy had listened. My dear, unfortunately, that was not the case. These people got married and, after they got married, like about 2 months down the line, this babe got pregnant. And this guy, I think because the first 2 months, he didn't, bring up the whole no working thingy again. I guess she felt everything was sorted. The guy had agreed with her. But unfortunately, he didn't agree because 2 months down the line, babe got pregnant. And then this guy comes one morning and says, you need to resign from your job, right? And she was like, hold up. Hold up. I thought we agreed, or I thought we had this conversation before, and I said I wasn't going to be a housewife. He said, well, you said you weren't going to be a housewife, but I said my wife must be a housewife, and you agreed to marry me. You said we would agree to disagree, so I thought you had agreed to my own side of the bargain. And she was like, no, I thought you agreed to mine because you didn't ask me to resign within the first 2 months of marriage. It was like, yeah, I just gave you time to, warm up to it and then do your thing pending when you get pregnant. But now you're pregnant, my wife cannot be pregnant and working at the same time. She was like, okay, but I cannot just up and leave my job. I love my job. I love doing what I do and all that. But when it's time to, take maternity leave and all that, I'm okay to do that. But for now that I'm still strong enough to work, can you allow me, let me just work for this time being? And this guy was like, nope. You're not gonna work. I've done the best I can do by allowing you work for the first 2 months of our marriage. And it became a full-blown problem. Oh, we thought, oh, this thing was going to sort itself out. Oh, they were going to sort it out. They didn't sort nothing. And it was a problem they had. It was a battle. They ended up fighting about it a lot, arguing, going back and forth. Nothing this lady said made any sense to this guy. Baba said, you cannot go against me. I'm the head of this home, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's very typical, very typical alpha male, domineering kind of men. That's exactly what this guy was. So he was like, no, you can't argue that one with me. I'm the head of this home. You need to submit to me, blah, 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 blah. If I say you're not working, you're not working. Baby girl thinks in a play, or say, okay, she thought, if she gives him time, he's going to warm up to it. Nope. He told her to hand in her resignation. She refused to do that. He wrote the resignation for her, went to her office and dropped it on her behalf that she is resigning. I was shocked. Like, she was shook to her bone marrow. She couldn't believe this was happening to her. But yeah, it could have been avoided. Because if she had actually addressed the elephant in the room, I'm not doing, I don't want to fight with my boyfriend. Oh, we love each other so much. And I've got butterflies in my tummy when he speaks. My dear. Now, what happened? She was busy doing, love conquers all things. We're going to sort it out. Eventually, it didn't get sorted. Baby girl was forced to resign from her job. And she was miserable eventually because she didn't like it. But in order to, keep the peace in her home and all that, she ended up having to, resort to fate of resigning from her job. And it was terrible for her because she wasn't happy at all afterwards. But this could have been avoided if they had just had the conversation properly and reached a common ground rather than saying, let's agree to disagree, we'll see how it goes. Don't do we see how it goes with anybody. It doesn't go nowhere good. So it's better you sort it out. If we cannot reach a conclusion beforehand, we're definitely not going to reach it later on. So my darling, be wise. Don't get me wrong here. Sometimes it's healthy and it's necessary to agree to disagree. But it depends on what you're agreeing to disagree on. So now I'll give you some examples of when it is okay to agree to disagree. Number one, when it's about preferences and not principles. So when it comes to preferences, it's okay to agree to disagree. For example, I like spicy food. You don't like spicy food. No problem. It's okay to agree to disagree. Simple thing. When I'm cooking, I will take out your own food before I add pepper to it. That's it. Easy peasy. Easy does it. Or we'll meet halfway and I would, keep the spicing minimal because of you. I'll just, keep it medium heat. Not too hot, not too flat either, so that both parties will be able to cope. Simple, easy peasy. On things like that, you can agree to disagree. But when it comes to principles and things that would affect your life, please don't do that. So number two, you can agree to disagree when the disagreement does not affect your shared goals. So if the disagreement is not going to affect your shared goals, it's not going to affect you guys' quality of life or way of living or parenting style or views on money management and all that, things like that are things that would affect shared goals between a couple. So if your differences are not, if your disagreement is not going to affect any of those things that have to impact the both of you, then it's fine. You can agree to disagree. Number three, you can agree to disagree when both of you can afford to just laugh it off and move forward in peace. If it's a simple trivial issue where it's okay to just laugh it off and move forward in peace, then fine, you can agree to disagree. You can say, me, I don't like football. You say, you are a football fanatic. No problem. You guys can laugh it up. When it's time for football, I'll give you your space. Go somewhere else to do something else. You watch your football. I go and do what I love to do. Or we'll have an agreement. I will join you to watch your football. You will join me to watch my own movie that I want to watch. And then that way, everyone is happy. Easy peasy. Simple. Things like that, you can agree to disagree on them. Not things that are going to be, potential deal breakers in the future. But when the disagreement is recurring or is, heavily emotionally based or is really weighing down on either or both parties, my dear, my brother, my sister, talk it through and don't hide on that, we're trying to be mature and agree to disagree. This has got nothing to do with being mature or acting mature or anything like that. Nope. No agreeing to disagree on matters that are going to affect the situation of you people's relationship in the future. Now let's talk about the hidden danger, which is silent resentment. So now this is one of the terrible dangers of agreeing to disagree that nobody talks about. I understand that, oh yeah, you've been sweeping things under the carpet, you've been, stomaching things in silence and just saying, okay, let me allow peace to reign, and you've been keeping quiet on certain things. The danger there is the fact that sometimes these things breed silent resentment. You won't know how far the thing has been building up inside you until it gets to the point where you just explode one day, and it's like, oh, you no longer talk anymore, you no longer voice out on your opinions or anything like that because you feel unheard. You feel like, oh, it's not like your opinion counts anyways. You stop talking because you feel like no matter whatever you say, it's not like you guys are gonna have any headway. You guys are just gonna keep saying, oh, let's agree to disagree, and you just move on without actually finding any solution to the disagreement. And this builds silent resentment in the long run. It could be from the male side or the female side. From whichever party, silent resentment can be built over time as a result of sweeping things under the carpet. Unfortunately, you could have avoided that, because if you guys have addressed the elephant in the room, it won't have gone out of hand and become something else. The downside is that every small issue now becomes a big thing. You no longer take anything as, oh, it's just a small issue. You're easily offended, you're always on the edge and just really edgy and temperamental. And you don't even know that this is a result of silent resentment, because over the years you felt like, oh, you've been unheard and ignored and all that. And before you know it, you build silent resentment in your heart, and then you're just an angry person, and they take everything out of proportion, and every little issue just becomes a big deal to you. This is as a result of stored anger over time. You don't even know that this thing is there locking inside you until one day it just explodes, boom, in your faces. So now that's exactly not peace. That's not peace, in my opinion. That's just emotional constipation, which is going to explode one day and become a huge thing. And this could have been avoided if only you guys could have just addressed your issues, had the difficult conversations, and made an actual headway rather than avoiding the problem. So now let's take it from a Christian perspective. You need to speak the truth in love. The Bible tells us in Ephesians 4:15, it says that instead we will speak the truth in love, growing in every way more and more like Christ, who is the head of his body, the church. So now the key word there is what? Speaking. It's speaking and not suppressing. So you need to speak up. So until you voice out these things, have these conversations, it's just gonna be there. The fact that you've buried it doesn't mean you're not gonna dig it up another day. Healthy relationships actually grow through having honest conversations. Loving someone doesn't mean avoiding conflicts. Far from it. Love doesn't mean avoiding conflict. Love simply means the ability for you guys to have difficult conversations respectfully, and trashing out the issues and actually making headway and coming to a conclusion amicably without it becoming a problem. That's where love comes to play. So love is not in avoiding conflict and burying things under the carpet because you feel, oh, let's let peace reign. No, my dear, it doesn't work that way. True love simply means we can sit down, have difficult conversations in all honesty, in all truthfulness, with love and with respect. Even Jesus Christ did not keep quiet when things were off. When people were, buying and selling in the temple, he admonished them, he shouted at them, he rebuked them. So if even Jesus doesn't keep quiet when things are going wrong, why are you forming, oh, let me follow peace with all men, when the so-called, peace you're trying to keep is killing your joy in the long run? You're not going to gain anything that way. I know that God wants peace. Yes, God says we should follow peace with all men. God wants peace for us, yes, but not at the expense of your voice, not at the expense of your joy. So how exactly do you handle disagreements like a grown adult? Number one, have the difficult conversations early before it gets too deep, basically. So have the difficult conversations early enough before they become something bigger in the future. Number two, ask the hard questions. What are these hard questions? Is this something I can live with long term or for the rest of my life? It's one important question you need to ask yourself before you get into a marriage or anything long term with anyone. these habits and these characters that this person portrays, is it something I can live with for the rest of my life on the condition that nothing changes? If your answer is no, my dear, that's your cue to walk away. If your answer is yes, then you're good. You can stay and deal with it. Number 2 question you need to ask: will this decision affect our future? If the answer is yes, my darling, abort mission. No agreeing to disagree. Sort the thing out. Address the elephant in the room there and then before you make any further, movements towards future plans and all that. Number 3, listen without interrupting. You need to listen to each other without interrupting each other. Hear each other out. Listen to understand, not listen to reply. So in that way, you gain proper understanding of what perspective or what angle your partner is coming from. And that way, you guys are going to make headway and see things from each other's point of view. Number 4, clarify. Don't assume. Don't assume that things are going to sort themselves out. Don't assume that, okay, later on things are going to change, or the person's opinion or the person's decision is going to change. My dear, don't assume anything. Clarify it. Ask them, is this going to change? Are you going to change your stand on this thing? Are you going to change your view or your opinion about this thing? Are you flexible about this thing, or are you rigid and hell-bent on it? So in order for you to avoid had I known. Number 5, pray together about it and ask for God's wisdom and unity. That's another very important thing to do. There's nothing prayer cannot do. If you ask God, who is the author of marriage, to come and direct you and guide you and help and assist you with your marriage, you definitely get to do it better. He will give you guys the wisdom and the grace to speak amicably and settle your differences in peace. Number 6 thing to do: if it is a non-negotiable for you, say so lovingly but clearly. If something is a non-negotiable for you, don't beat around the bush, no mincing of words. Get straight to the point. Say it in a loving manner, but clearly and firmly as well. So my people, as you go into that your new talking stage, as you go ahead in that your relationship, in that your friendship, whatever it is, in that your situationship that is not situationing, whatever it is that you're in, ask yourself this question: am I agreeing to disagree because I'm trying to, let peace reign? Or am I agreeing to disagree because I want to avoid confrontation or avoid difficult conversations? You need to ask yourself that question. This you're agreeing to disagree that you're doing, is it out of wisdom, or is it a way of escaping having the difficult conversations? Ask yourself that question and tell yourself the truth. That's the only way you can make headway. And as you know, of course, I am always rooting for you. So please make the right decision. Think it through. Think straight with your head and not with your heart, and you make the best decision in the end. So thank you so much for watching. If you watched this video to this point, you're the real MVP. Shout out to you. I love you so much. And I hope, of course, you have learned something from this video. And of course, if you've learned something, please drop your comments in the comment section. If you have any questions, make sure you drop it in the comment section as well. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, share it to your friends, family, loved ones, your partner, that person you're in a situationship with, your talking stage, whatever it is, share it to each and every one of them. And make sure you drop your comments in the comment section and subscribe to this channel, because you know what, we rise by lifting others, innit? Thank you very much. See you same time next week. I remain your amazing host, Oge Chinze, aka The Phenomenal Oge. Thank you so much. See you same time next week. Love you. Bye.